Last night Tucker Carlson vowed that now and forever he will refuse to ever bow to the leftist outrage machine and mob. We've always apologized when we are wrong and will continue to do that, but we will never bow to the mob ever, no matter what Carlson said. Partial transcript. Anybody who's ever been caught in its gears can tell you, the great American outrage machine is a remarkable thing. One day you're having dinner with your family, imagine everything is fine. Next, your phone exploding with calls from reporters who read you snippets from a press release written by Democratic Party operatives that the man to know how you could have said something so awful, and it's a bewildering moment, especially when the quotes in question are more than a decade old. If not what you can do to respond, it's pointless to try to talk about words spoken in jest or taken out of context, or no resemblance to what you think or want for the country. None of that matters, none of that cares. You know the role you're required to play. You are a sinner that needs the forgiveness of Twitter. So you show a statement of deep contrition, apologize for the profusely, promise to be a better person going forward with the guidance of your patrician consultant companies and money to whatever organization claims that represents the people you supposedly affected. You sit back and brace for a wave and stories about your apology, all of which simply pretext for attacking you again. In the end, you get fired, lose your job. Nobody defends you. Your neighbors open their gates as you pull in the driveway. You are ruined. No matter how bad it gets, no matter how despised and humiliated you may be, there is one thing you could never do, one thing that is absolutely not allowed. You can never acknowledge the comic observer the absurdity of the whole thing, for you can never live in the face of the mob. You have to pretend the people yelling at you are somehow your moral superiors. You have to assume what they say they are mad about is what they are actually mad about. You have to take them at face value. You must pretend this is a debate about virtue and not about power. Your critics are arguing from principle and not for partisanship. No matter what they take from you in the end, you must continue to pretend that these things are true. You are bad, they are good. The system is on the level. But what if we stop pretending for a minute? What if we acknowledge what's actually going on? In one side is deadly serious. They believe that politics is war. They are not interested in abstractions or principles, rules or traditions. They seek power and they claim to win it with whatever it takes. If that includes getting you fired or silencing you, threatening your family at home, throwing you in prison, okay. They know what their goal is. If you're in way, they will crush you. But what's interesting is how reliably the other side pretends that none of this is happening. Republicans in Washington do a fairly credible imitation of an opposition party. They still give speeches, they tweaked quite a bit, they make certain noises about how liberals are bad. On the deepest level, it's all a pose. In their minds, where it matters, Republican leaders are controlled by the left. They know exactly what they are allowed to say and believe it, or they know what the rules are. They may understand that those rules are written by the very people who seek their destruction, they ruthlessly enforce them anyway. Republicans in Washington police their own with a never-ending enthusiasm. Like trustees in a prison that dutifully report back to the warden hoping for perks. Nobody wants to be called names, nobody wants "how many times have you seen it happen?" Some conservative leader will say something stupid or too far outside the bounds of received wisdoms for the moral guardians of cable news. Twitter goes bonkers by the mob demands response. The first people calling for the destruction of that people are the public end. You saw with the Covington Catholic high school kids, you saw it all the time. Paul Ryan did the same before him. A couple of years ago, the entire Democratic Party decided to deny the biological reality of sex differences, an idea that is insane and dangerous. Republican leaders decided to not criticize them for it. This is a system built on the seat and forced silence, but hypocrisy is its hallmark. In Washington, it's considered rude to ask how exactly it works. But why are the people who considered Bill Clinton a hero lecturing me about sexism? How can the party demanding racial quotas to meet other people as racist? Beginning to think that maybe their criticisms aren't sincere. Maybe the moral puffery is a costume. Maybe the whole conversation is an absurd joke. Maybe we are falling for it. You hear modern progressive described as new Puritans, purity and spirit whatever there. Puritans cared about the faith of the soul and progressives too busy pushing late-term abortions and cross-dressing on fifth graders. These are the people writing movies and sitcoms. They are not shocked by naughty words. You pretend to be when it's useful. It's been very useful lately. The left's main goal, in case you haven't noticed, is controlling what to think of it. In order to do that, they have to control the information you receive. Your Google, Facebook, Twitter are fully on board with that. They are happy to ban unapproved thoughts and they don't apologize for it. They often do. Cable channels and every news outfit in this country, one of the only places left in the United States where independent thoughts are allowed is right here. The opinion hours on this network, a few hours on a sea of television programming, not much relatively speaking. For the left, it's unacceptable. It demands total conformity. Since the day we went on the air they've been working hard to kill this show. They've said much about it in public, it's seeming to referential. But now it's obvious to everybody appeared no pretending it's not happening. It is happening to going forward. We'll be covering their effort to make us be quiet but for now, 2 points to leave you with. First, Fox News is behind us as they have been since the very first day. Toughness is a rare quality in a TV network and we are grateful for that. Second, we've always apologized when we are wrong and will continue to do that, but we will never bow to the mob ever, no matter what. Facebook has greatly reduced the distribution of our stories in our readers' news feeds and is instead promoting mainstream media sources. When you donate, you greatly help distribute our content. Please take a moment and consider sharing this article with your friends and family. Thank you.